please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic?
Captain's Log, Subdates 231006.7. Over the weekend we need to start, complete, review, improve the main room of the cabin. Provided there are no setbacks, we should be able to then make some time to paint some Warhammer, eviscerate some NPC crew, and hopefully stop Tilly from using my microphone as a tooth cleaner. Hello everyone, welcome to This Week at X. I hate the title. Bring back twat. Today we're going to start with Lil Tay. Now Lil Tay, well, there were a number of stories concerning this individual. A few years ago, much like with Woe Vicky, they rose to fame because they dabbed on poor people by saying, how can you not have all this money? Now, it was later to be proven some kind of a scam. It wasn't very clever. In the case of Woe Vicky, who cared? She pretended she was black. She's just some white trash from a well-off area of Atlanta, Georgia. Lil Tay, though, after getting a lot of attention, a lot of blowback, vanished. Okay. After a little while, Lil Tay was announced on social media as deceased, which was a bit of a surprise, I will admit. Some did believe it was a scam, others simply said, rest in peace, move on. My view was not to touch it with a barge pole because I didn't know what to think. Some videos started to surface recently of Lil Tay talking about what really happened. I'm going to play those in a minute after I've read a few tweets relevant to it. Firstly, Carvos. All the PDF files deciding to out themselves today after Lil Tay's return, effing grim comments online. Lil Tay is 16 years old. If you are one of those lurkers that's been waiting for this day, much like when Emma Watson turned 16 and then 18, the actress who played Hermione Granger, get help before you commit a crime and end up in prison. Your boy Pat retweeted Say Cheese, who said Lil Tay is back, 5 years and y'all still broke. That has a video, I'll play that now.
Back 5 years and I'm still the youngest one out. 5 years and y'all bitches are still broke. So don't take it out on me. Why the fuck are y'all coming at me for? Y'all hating ass bitches were hating on me when I was 9 years old. Talking all this shit when you don't fucking know me. So stop fucking talking. You did not come up. You had 5 years to come up and you didn't. So don't blame me, bitch. 5 years.
Your boy Pat says the girl that faked her death for clout stopped giving this brat attention. Willie Mac. Lil Tay now exposing her parents for ABUSE. Not gonna lie, boy cried wolf one too many times for me to believe anything coming from her. You believe it? Here's the video.
Out of the shower and she wouldn't even put clothes on. And they were always playing these sexually inappropriate movies in front of me, openly in front of me. So that was the norms. Those were the norms in this household. It's f***ing sick. And she would always take out her anger onto me. If her son did anything wrong, it would become my fault. And she punched me, she pinched me. Pinching me was a really big thing. Chris mainly shoved me. And this is one of the worst incidents that happened.
Drama alert. Lil Tay's big return to livestream is just her playing instruments, which by the way, shows incredible talent. I like it when people actually have talent as opposed to a character where they show they're a nobody doing a nothing and they're embarrassing to be around. Oblax retweeted Drama Alert with, it's really nice seeing one of these viral mean people come back and utilize their notability to showcase their hobbies and passions instead of making an NFT or some other soulless shit. Agreed. NFTs are dead by the way, so don't bother wasting your money on the lazy monkey bollocks. The only real disappointment is, for people like Lil Tay, Woe Vicky, is that they're known for one thing. Unless they act quickly to cultivate an audience where they showcase their talent and build from that, they'll only ever be known as, in the case of Woe Vicky, the white girl pretending to be a black girl so she can drop N-bombs, and Lil Tay being the trashy little person who dabbed on others for not having as much money as she did or her family. Didn't somebody in her family lose their job because of her? Your boy Pat, retweeting the notorious JOV, with them tweeting, I don't see enough people talking about this, but it's incredibly sad Lil Tay is a victim. Included is a 10-minute video, I am not playing it, but I'll link the tweet down below. Pat, how many times have we seen clout-chasing females like this play the victim card? She had 15 minutes of fame, it fizzled out. She faked her death for clout and now is trying to revitalize whatever little spotlight she can get by pulling these stunts. I'm not going to offer much in the way of an opinion on this. I just want to show you two different sides to how this is perceived. Whether or not there is some truth, or whether or not people are yet again being deceived, I will let you decide. I'm sure there is validity to the claims of crying wolf. I'm sure there is some validity to the 15 minutes of fame claim. And additionally, validity to one exploring their hobbies and passions and showing it to others on social media. I'm also not going to say whether Lil Tay is lying on, because I've been accused of victim blaming in the past and I can't be arsed with it. So instead, I'm going to let you all decide yourselves. You can look at all the tweets in the pinned comment to tell me what you think in the comments. So next I'm going to read some tweets from Social Repose. If you don't know who he is, I've done a video on him in the past, a content constable. He has over the years been accused of cultural appropriation, something which I fundamentally disagree with. Appreciation is an excuse to rail on white people because they don't have culture, whereas I would consider 99.9% of what is dubbed appropriation to be appreciation. Notice how I started by mentioning Woe Vicky at the earlier point of this video. Yeah, that's appropriation, like Rachel Dolezal. Social Repose to this day still gets a lot of crap from people who don't seem to understand who he is, what he does, right? And I thought I'd read 3 tweets that I think are quite apt to describe the current problems on places like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We'll start with, gatekeeping is for the weak and insecure. Do what you want, who cares? 100% I agree. If you gatekeep for something you claim to like or love, you are stopping it from growing, evolving and changing because you believe that the version of it that exists is its best and final form. If you were a Pokemon player, you'd have them hold an Everstone. That's you, by the way. In the context of what he's tweeting about, he followed it up with any alt persons complaining about other alternative people not following a certain set of beliefs of guidelines doesn't know what alternative is. Alternative is an umbrella term. It's counterculture. It's a rebellion against the norms with whatever medium you choose, very broad. And he's right. I on a regular basis get called emo. I don't really fit into the bracket of it, but usually those that keep saying it to me are the same people who like to obsess over saying the same word over and over again because it sounds cool. My nieces do that with nursery rhymes. So try not to colour me too surprised when I find there are people in the mid-20s and late 30s still doing it. The level of intellectual, rigour is quite low. The tweet that got my attention that made me look in the first place was, I love freedom of speech, but sometimes being called a PDF file by folks with the reading comprehension of a 3rd grader gets tiring. After all these years, there are many accusations that are still levied at Social Repose, and I've covered them before, but to call him that is quite extreme. But that is typical of places like Twitter, typical of places like Facebook, Instagram, any social media in fact. I'll include Threads if you use it. I see that now on my Instagram feed. I wish I could break it. People will go to the extreme of calling you that extreme word, not realizing the damage it does in the wider landscape. And they'll do it because it gets your attention, it hurts, and because they want to find a way to break you publicly. I don't like using those words. I find those that go to those extremes are the types who will immediately, when they get clapped back with, blocking. That's what they will resort to doing, because they only want your attention long enough so they can drop those words and act as if it's a mic drop and walk away. Not be held accountable or responsible for the crappy things they say. And to prove my point, I'm going to move on to something else. Damned Nation, I have a question. How many of you have noticed the transgender community bullying and abusing transsexual? Rose of Dawn, being a trans woman, has said, I have received far more vitriol from the trans community than I ever have from the GC side. And if you do like Rose of Dawn, which you should, go send her pictures of seals. She loves seal. Trying to prove a point that not everyone has to be nasty on social media. Nice me this one time, folks. Or follow my Instagram, my whiskey one. Not worth a cork. It's delectable. So next we're going to go to a tweet from Jessica Pizzle. Jessica, my apologies for butchering your name here. Who had tweeted an image from another Twitter user called NymphAbby. NymphAbby, that's the name. I worked it out. Well done me. NymphAbby is a big simp for Hassan Piker. Not a joke, I looked at their Twitter and virtually everything was retweeting Hassan Piker. NymphAbby had retweeted Leia Sapienti, who had said literally you were saying you wanted to Roblox yourself. Pizzle and myself were making these suggestions to you because, and then that word baiting. Okay. The retweet was, quote, "We wanted to help your clueless ass," proceeds to bully me into a state of deep depression, which sounds like cope for someone who refuses to see sense. That's how it comes across. I took the liberty of getting the full context. "This is so stupid, Lamau. I'm not going to the effing mental hospital. Last time they evaluated me, they said I didn't belong there. Stop acting like you are a medical expert, Jessica Pizzle." Included a 40-second video out of context. And it's also quite an ancient video. Retweet, there were 2 main points. 1, at least I thought you were baiting like you have done before. 2, we wanted to help your clueless ass because you were and still are looking all sorts of stupid when you and Bunk broke up and you tried to paint Bunk as an ABUSER. Now you are saying you're completely fine and have never needed medical treatment. You went around on TikTok posting a hit him with your car video that made the soft implication you were talking about Bunk. You literally have no room to speak. Go bleach Hassan's booty hole because we don't give a fudge. And while big brave while making the accusations and then tagging relevant parties, because of the clapback, Nymph Abbey then protected tweets. Now I'm fully in favour of protecting your accounts if you feel that you need to do so. Not currently protected, doesn't matter. But if you're going to go in on the attack on people on social media, don't be surprised if they then clap back. That is the point. If they don't have the right or the ability to do so, but you still talk shit about them, that just shows you are a bully. And again, according to others, you do in fact have a rather nasty track record of lies and deceit. Andy Baby on Twitter. So this happened today in my local Tesco's. These scumbags thought they could just walk out with anything they wanted. Not in my town. We were having none of it. Basically, some guys went into the store, filled up their trolleys, and left with the stuff. They put it in their car and attempted to leave. The 2-minute video is what can be considered a citizen's arrest from a mob of very disgruntled individuals who saw this correctly as an injustice and acted to detain until the police arrived. As I'm not entirely sure how much of it I can get away with showing you, it has been playing since I finished reading the tweet, because I think if I include the audio of it, it might get me into trouble. It's not too violent, and of course no one likes to see justice in action. I hope everyone involved that stole is arrested, and I hope what you stole was the lowest grade Tesco quality food with you thinking that it was equivalent to the highest end caviar, because you're absolute chavs. Jesu, so sick and tired of ugly men crying face emojis. Like, what is the point of even being alive when they're ugly AF? Crying emojis. You wake up ugly and you sleep ugly, more crying emojis. Like, skill issue bruh. They have all these egos being effing ugly, crying emojis. Get well soon, crying emoji. While I do firmly believe that this tweet was aimed at someone in particular that does not have a Twitter account, this should be a public service announcement for all those that are ugly. Not those that say they're ugly, those that are ugly because we've told you you're ugly. You're welcome. To the final tweets of interest. Bo Blacks. Why does Dream keep acting like his face reveal was some sort of historical event? He's been talking about his face non-stop for the past 3 years. Skull emoji Lamau. Retweet of Dream. It's been 1 year since I revealed my face. Who cares? You have a jawline of Stan Smith. Seriously, no one cares what you look like. Didn't you go back to using a mask recently? Bo Blacks followed his tweet up with, "It's been 26 years since I revealed my face. Congratulations. Would you like a mask as well?" I'd like to direct your attention to the earlier tweet from Jesu. Consider it a public service announcement of a rinse repeat. You're welcome. I'm saying you and every other human on this planet are ugly. You're all welcome. No Lives Matter 2024 will resolve the issue when there's no humanity left. Vote for me.